at the Oscars, you're wheeled out wearing a Hannibal Lecter mask, and you walk up to Anthony Hopkins and say, I'm having some members of the Academy for dinner. Care to join me?
Yeah.
How did you get through that evening? You had pneumonia, 103 temperature, stuffed ear.
I had pneumonia. It was right after we finished Mr. Saturday Night. And every time I've done something, as soon as I go, cut, that's a wrap, thank you everybody, I go, achoo! You hold it in. You don't get sick during the making of something. Your body then just totally breaks down, and I got this terrible pneumonia. Gil Cates, who was the great producer of the show and a great friend, was on standby, and they had actually called Tom Hanks to step in case I couldn't make it. I didn't rehearse. I couldn't hear. And I did a medley that night, and if you ever look at any of it, I don't sound very good, and couldn't hear a thing. And midway through the show, Jack Palance wins the Academy Award for City Slickers, and he does the one-arm push-ups. He also made 2 dirty jokes that people don't hear very well. And he turns around to where I was and says, Billy Crystal, I crap bigger than you. Which people didn't realize was a line from City Slickers. And so to him, that was a compliment. People thought he was dissing me. And if there was Twitter back then, they would have been all over him. And so now he does those one-arm push-ups, and I'm looking at him going, thank you. There was the greatest setup for an Academy Award host ever, and we just ran with jokes the entire night about Jack. Every commercial break, I worked something in. Jack just won the New York State primary. Jack just jumped off the Hollywood sign. There was a song from Hook, and there were like 40 little kids on stage, and I said, Jack Palance is the father of all of these children. And then probably the greatest moment I will ever have on stage where I really can say, and I'm very hard on what I do, I don't look at anything if I can help it after I've done it. It just feels really good, and I'm always disappointed. I'll look at the wrong things, and I'm too hard on myself. But this one moment for me, I was to introduce Mr. Hal Roach. Hal was one of the comedy founding fathers with the Hal Roach Studios, the Little Rascals. He teamed Laurel and Hardy together. He had the Hal Roach Studios. He was one of the giants of the early days of the movie world. And so he was 100 years old. So I'm standing, I'm just supposed to introduce him. So I said, ladies and gentlemen, he's 100 years old, sitting right over there, Mr. Hal Roach. Now, Mr. Roach stands up, and all he was supposed to do was wave. He starts talking. There's no microphone. So I'm standing there, 1 billion people are watching me with the red light on, and this is how he sounded. I want to say, ladies and gentlemen, and you know, with all the little kids today, and I had Spanky and little Buckwheat, and you know, and the little dog Joey with the dog, and then of course there was Babe Hardy and Stan, and those days of. And then I went with and you know, and I'm on stage looking at him, and I just looked at the audience, and a line came to me which was, this is very fitting, he got his start in silent films. And for me, you know, in front of 2 billion people, and I'm going to pat myself on the back, I can say that's that moment I was a good comedian. I loved, that was one of those, because the lines were flowing, and you make up these decisions instantly. That's the fascinating thing about stand-up, that it's, you know, it's where is it, and suddenly, boom, that one. And your eyes light up like you just hit a slot machine. It's like, boom, got it, and then did it, and that was, yeah. So that was a great.